know, sometimes, baby, I'm so carefree, with a joy that's hard to hide. And then sometimes again it seems that all I have is worry. And then you're bound to see my other side. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be.
Bandidos! Tux here covering the Division 2 Daily to help you milk every bit out of what this game has to offer. And today we're going to be covering the patch notes for the new upcoming update for the Division 2. You heard me right. Let's get going.
Accept it, Division. This is a war you can't win.
Sweet dreams are made of this.
And you're live with Tux. What's happening, Bandidos? Hope you're having a beautiful afternoon as we've learned in the last 24 hours that the latest update for the Division 2 is just around the corner. Currently, we're in the middle of Season 8, back half of Season 8, with about 6 weeks left to go, 4 to 6 weeks left to go, that is. And right at the end of that, we are predicting, we don't have an official update yet, that they're gonna drop Season 9. We don't have an official date, but we know Season 9 is coming. As a matter of fact, the PTS testing begins tomorrow. That's absolutely amazing. So I think we're all really happy about that, to see that Ubisoft, Massive, are communicating with the community again. And we'll go into a little bit of those details. But we'll also be covering the patch notes themselves. So they have released patch notes, which is basically an itemized list of the things that the new update that we're expecting is going to cover. Now, the PTS download starts today. So if you're on the PC, you can start downloading for the PTS and you can begin testing the PTS, the first phase, and there will be 3 phases of the PTS starting tomorrow. So that's really exciting. Now, unfortunately, if you're on a console like PlayStation or Xbox, you don't get to participate in the PTS. And the reason why, and they've covered this in previous PTS testing, is that they have to get approval by Microsoft themselves or Sony themselves in order to do the PTS testing, and that would take like a lifetime of a life cycle to do that, and they don't have that much time in preparation between when they need to release the update or the PTS stuff, in which time the amount of time it takes for the approval. That all made sense. That was a big scramble, but I think you get the idea. Anyways, how's everybody doing today? So first, if you like what I do and you want to support me in the Division 2, it's really easy. All you gotta do is hit the like on this live stream. It's that easy. And also subscribe if you haven't done that. Let me give you a moment of silence so that you can hit the like on this video right now. So we got 30 people listening in. We need 30 likes right now. Let's do it. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. All right, it's that easy. Hopefully you used that valuable time to hit the like button on this video. That really does help me. It also helps the community because then it gets this word out and they get to watch this and hopefully pick up some Division 2 fodder to make them better players, better homies, better teammates. Also want to mention that the last build I released just the other day, I think that was actually yesterday, was the Merciless build, the build that broke the Merciless code. Really good video. Basically goes into all the details of why the Merciless is the way that it is and how to make it better and how to make it awesome and how to actually make it fun. And it's the most amount of time that I've spent with the Merciless since I've gotten this game. So that says something. Long time, right? So also a member of Tuxedo Players Club, make sure you get your mileage out of the latest classified build, which is called Savage. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it is this beast. Check it out.
Fuck.
And way down we go. Way down we go. Way down we go. 'Cause they will run you down till you grow. Yes, and they will run you down till you grow. Yes, and they will run you down till you grow. Yeah, so you can grow no more. Way down we go. Way down we go. Way down we go.
So that's the best Savage Wolverine build in the game. It's the latest classified build that I've put out for the Players Club, and that's because I can't do this without you. And so I truly make these extra builds, some of my favorite builds in the game, for you guys as a thank you for supporting me and the Division 2. So if you don't know what these really are extra builds that I create, guys. And to become a member of Tux's Players Club, it's really easy. All you gotta do is hit that join link that's dropping in the chat feed. That's also in the description area of this live stream. It's that easy. Also, Hardcore Bandidos, don't forget that you got your gamer music playlist. It awaits you to download or stream. You can play it and stream it here on YouTube as well as SoundCloud. SoundCloud, not Clued. That's not a thing. SoundCloud is not a thing. Okay, thanks for hanging with me, guys. Let's see who has joined us in the chat. Xander and Sick Jim. Boys, what's up? Sydney Williams. We're gonna go through the patch notes, Sydney. So I'm sure they're consistent with whoever else you're watching, because our source should all be the same, and that's from Massive Ubisoft themselves. So if your other YouTubers are hopefully using the same source as I am, and I'm gonna put that right here on the screen for us. Biko, what's up, brother? Batmo Bike in the house. Leonard, hey man, I'm glad that you're liking those builds. Appreciate that. Notion of Death, what up? Waxy Device in the house. Mike B Tesla, how's it going? Wayne, Tux Clan, what up, people? If you're in the Tux Clan, give us a shout. Anthony, good to see you back. Mike G, Star King, Super 9271. What's up, brother? Cool. So let's see who else is. Jasper, right on. And Claxonus. I agree, Claxon. The Claxonus is calling it. Claxon's calling it. Spotter's gonna be meta. Yep, pulse builds are gonna be huge, guys. Pulse builds are gonna be huge. Okay, you guys ready to get into this? All right. So actually, before I'm gonna drop a link in the chat. So in case you want to follow along or view this on your own, I'm gonna give you the source. So here's the source of patch notes. And we're gonna view this on the screen, but I'm gonna drop you the link too, okay? So there it is right there for you, so you can view this on your own later on or tonight or whatever after this live stream. I'll also patch it in the description. I'll put these patch note links in the description area of this live stream. So if you're watching this on the replay, you can snag it there too. Right on. Okay, let me switch my screen over here. And let's pop this up. So this is the tab. Okay, cool. So this is the PTS phase and patch notes. Okay, so this is basically season 9 that we're talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of read this word for word a little bit here. Yeah, and one of the things that I should disclose to make sure that you guys understand that going into the PTS phase, which is testing, right? So PTS is basically testing, right? Player testing. So they're gonna gather feedback and then kind of evaluate what goes on, and then they're gonna rebalance things through phase 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and so what comes out the other end may not be exactly the same as what goes in, right? And things could get so clusterfucked that it might cause delays, right? So one thing is they haven't announced when this update will actually drop because of global events, right? And I'm not talking about the Oscars or any awards, I'm not talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock shit, all right? I'm talking about like the fact that there's a World War III, we're on the brink of World War III kind of stuff, plus the pandemic, right? So crazy stuff like that. So that's why they haven't announced dates, because Massive Ubisoft, they're located in the European regions, right? So, they can be affected by that stuff depending on how that war goes, whatever. But anyways, that aside, we are anticipating this. Usually what happens when you run a season, right? Like we're currently in season 8, there's usually a 2-week gap and then the next season drops. All right. And so that puts us about 6 weeks out, give or take. I think we got about, if we look, well, we don't need to look, but it's about give or take 6 weeks, but that's, you know, it just depends on how the PTS goes. So there could be a little bit of a delay beyond that. So just so you know. Anyways, so as the schedule goes, there's gonna be PTS 1, which is gonna be Countdown and Expertise. So Countdown is a new game mode, and Expertise is a new system within the game. We have covered Expertise in the past, but there'll be some notes in here on that as well. And then PTS 2 is new gear and balance adjustments. So that's the feedback cycles. These are feedback cycles, okay? So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then all of the bug fixes for phase 1 and 2. So they're agents, so those that are participating in the PTS will actually receive everything. So starting tomorrow, technically today, but starting tomorrow when they log in, they'll have access to all the new gear, all the new exotics, Countdown and Expertise. So they're gonna get everything. It's just that the feedback cycle is gonna happen over 3 phases. And they're gonna make updates along the way. Okay, so the new game mode. So this is all we have on the new game mode. All right, so there's still a lot of space for speculation here. So keep that in mind, okay? So I don't think this is like this is a tell-all in these notes. I mean, I think imaginations are running here. I posted this in my community, the little snippet on this, and you know, we gotten a lot of like comments and you know, a lot of negative comments, a lot of positive comments. But the reality is that we're all making assumptions, you know, because this doesn't say a lot. This is really high level. It just say that. So but it's a new game mode, and anything new to the Division 2 is a big deal. All right, so this Countdown is a new 8-player key. 8-player game mode. We don't have anything like that in the Division 2 except for what? Raids. But this is not a raid. But it's the only content that is gonna expand how many players you interact with in the Division 2. But okay, so it's an end game mode for the Division 2. 8-player end game mode for the Division 2. So 2 groups of 4, just like the raids. SHD agents are deployed to a power plant to prevent a lockdown. What does that tell you guys? Do we have a power plant in the Division 2 right now? Where's the power plant in Washington, D.C.? Somebody tell me that. There isn't one. So what is that telling you guys? A new map, right? That means we're gonna have a new map in the Division 2. That's a big deal. That alone gets me excited, right? So it's gonna be like an expansion to map. It's like not like gonna be a whole new map, right? But it's gonna be something like, you know, Iron Horse or you know, the Pentagon or, you know, whatever, one of the Coney Island stuff, you know, so it's gonna be like an extension, right? So 2 groups of 4 agents are deployed to a power plant to prevent a lockdown. Racing against the clock, the agents must work together to secure the site and stabilize the power plant. Believing the mission is complete, the agents prepare for extraction and are pursued by heavily armed and technologically advanced hostiles. So that last sentence there, I think, is the actual game mode. So racing against the clock, the agents must work together to secure the site and stabilize the power plant. So I think that's kind of like, it's gonna feel like a raid. So I think like you're gonna drop in, you gotta like clear out enemies within a certain amount of time. This is like, I'm totally speculating here. We do not know, okay? But so I think that's what's gonna happen. The game will kick off, and then you gotta lock it down, clear the enemies within a time limit, right? And then we're like gonna be like, yay! And then then I think what's gonna happen is that we're gonna get waves of enemies, right? It says, believing the mission is complete, the agents prepare for extraction and are pursued by heavily armed and technologically advanced hostiles. So I think like the Black Tusk are technologically advanced hostiles. It could be something like that. I don't know if it's gonna be a new faction or anything, but they didn't, you know, that's really interesting that they say technologically advanced hostiles, but they don't specify like Iron Horse, right? The Iron Horse are the fire guys, right? And you know, the Dark Hours is the Black Tusk. So they don't specify that. They just say technologically advanced hostiles. So that's weird. That's weird. And maybe it's all of the above. You know, maybe it's all of the above with mixed So you know when you're in the summit, this is what I was speculating here. You know when you're in the summit and you get unusual hostile team, and there's usually a boss in there, right? And that boss is like, he's got weird skills. So it's like, you'll see him with like, it might be like a Black Tusk boss, and he's got like a riot foam gun. Have you seen that? And then he's got like a riot foam seeker mine and stuff, weird stuff like that. He's got weird stuff. Or you'll see Black Tusk with like flamethrowers, you know, so it might be something like that, like a mix of skills added to the Black Tusk or any other faction, I'm not sure. But what I interpret this, and I know you're interpreting this different, we all are because we're using our imagination, but so I think it's gonna be like these timed waves. I think it was just pursued by heavily armed and technologically advanced hostiles. I think what happens is that it says believing the mission is complete, right? And so I think the mission never ends. So for me, I think it starts to bring in like this crossover survival element to it. That's how I'm, you know, where my imagination goes. And so I think what it's doing is like, so these like a wave of enemies, of these technologically advanced enemies comes to attack you, and you got to survive for like, you know, 3 minutes. And they just keep coming, they just keep coming, and they just come in, and there's a timer, and you gotta survive for 3 minutes. It's like 3 minutes of endless waves, right? And then you're like, whew, we survived. And then it's 4 minutes of endless waves, right? And then it's 5 minutes of endless waves. So the amount of time you have to survive begins to expand, and which becomes more difficult because you're gonna get more and more enemies that you have to kill within that amount of time. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see, right? But this is 8-player PvE, right? 8-player PvE. So, you know, what do we think about that? Let's take it. What do we think about 8-player PvE? Anybody got any ideas? What do you guys think? Let's zoom in on that a little bit more. I mean, so 8 players. I mean, so in raids are a challenge, right? Why raids are a challenge? It's just, so first of all, let's just make sure this is not one of the biggest things that distinguishes this from a regular raid is that there's matchmaking. So you can matchmake it, but there's questions here, right? Like, what if I don't want to matchmake? Can I bring my group of 4 and just play this as a team of 4, or must we have 8? You know, what if I want to solo this and show how large my third leg is? You know what I mean? Like, can we do that? You know, I don't know. So let me see what you guys have to say in the comments, because but 8 players, so that's what I want to know. What do you guys think about 8 players? So it's gonna be matchmaking. So there's a couple, let me just mention it here, that it's gonna be matchmaking. So you're gonna be able to, you know, just log in just like you do with Legendary and say matchmake for this new game mode, right? Countdown. And so you're gonna sit there in a lobby, basically, or not a lobby, but in the game, and do this matchmaking thing until there's 8 players, I'm guessing. And then I guess what do you guys guess? Like the leader, whoever's, I guess the first man in is the captain, and then the captain hits start once the team is full, or does it auto start when the team is full? And so what are you doing in the meantime? You know what I'm saying? You guys know what I'm talking about? So think about how this is working. I don't know. I mean, the devs, we'll see tomorrow. So I'm sure that some of the guys that are on the on PCs will be streaming the PTS. Unfortunately, I'm on Xbox, so I won't be able to do that. But like, are we going to be standing by this helicopter, or is it going to be like a conflict thing here? Will there be a menu like where you go into this lobby, right? Or will it be like a raid? You know, where you're in an open world and you start connecting to people. You know, I mean, I like the matchmaking thing. I like that. You know. That's good. It's important. You don't want to make it a raid because then it makes it very difficult for people to get in that aren't part of clans. So I'm glad they didn't make it just another raid. And for me, raids get a little bit boring, but they're not that replayable for me. But I know a lot of people, that's all they play. So it is for the community apparently. So I don't know, you know. But what I do know is this. Okay, so raids require a lot of teamwork and coordination, you know, and that's what actually makes them difficult. right? So let's just talk about raids for a quick second to make sure that we can distinguish the difference between this game mode and a raid. Hotel Tango, what's up? Floyd Rocker in the house and Mr. McGowan. What's up, Scotzo G, Parker Fly Rook? What's happening, Jasper? Constantino. Welcome, welcome. Montez. So, yeah, Anthony DeMar says Countdown sounds kind of like a tower or base defense game mode. That's exactly what I'm thinking. That's how I imagine it too. I'm sort of hoping that's the case too. I'm hoping that's the case. My camera seems a little too high. Let me fix my camera. But, you know, with those patch notes, they definitely left a lot of room for the imagination, right? I mean, so, but with 8 players requires a lot of coordination. So, in the raids, they did that on purpose by giving you all these tasks, right? You got to dump the water, spray the hose, shoot rockets, and it's all on some sort of like timed sequence, right? And so, my guess is that they've removed some of that because of the random matchmaking. Because if it was random matchmaking and you had to do tasks like that were in the raid, it would be an effing nightmare. So I think it's gonna be like the summit, right? Where you random matchmake and maybe you're in the lobby, maybe you're in the elevator, maybe you're upstairs, I don't know. But I bet, what I'm betting is that you won't be able to kick it off until somebody either hits go or the team is full. Now I'm hoping the team doesn't have to be full because I think to give this more legs, more replayability, I think you want to be able to play it with like a 2-man squad or an 8-man squad. And that means that there needs to be a team captain, which is usually going to be the first person, right? Where everybody loads in on that person's map and then he hits go, you know what I mean? Or start. But at the same time, that might not be possible. Just kind of talking through this, thinking out loud here. Tux thinking out loud, it hurts. But hopefully you can see the brain vibes. Wow. But like, what up, G Unit in the house? G Unit and I played last night. We had a lot of fun. I got a really good build for you guys too. Anyways, what we also have to consider is that when players drop, so when you're matchmaking with random people, you know, their schedules are all over the place. They're like, oh, I got like a half hour to an hour to put in, so I'm gonna play, and then I gotta bounce, and he bounces. It doesn't. You can't, the game mode can't stop because you dropped down to 7 players, right? So that means I think it's gonna go auto matchmaking and then somebody will join in wherever you are. Now, if that's the case, then you'll be able to play this as a solo person, right? Or a 2-man squad or a 3-man squad or whatever. Turn matchmaking on and off. Because it can't auto-fill on a team, you know, midway, unless it has the capability to do that from the very beginning. So my guess is that you'll probably, you know, just kind of thinking through it, is that you'll probably be able to start with a small team and finish with a small team and matchmake along the way or whatever. So, but Joaquin, ¿qué pasó? Bienvenido. Ali Papes, what's up, man? There's some bug fixes too, Ali. You know, we'll go into that too. But there's some major changes. Oh, thanks, Phil. Phil said that Yannick gave some insight. So Phil says Yannick says you can do it solo, which is cool, but it won't change the number of enemies. Thanks, Phil. I should have read that comment like 1 minute ago. Appreciate you, man. Okay, so anyways, let's read these other little quick notes here. So it's a timed mission. Okay, sure. We don't know what that means exactly, but it's not time mission. Various objectives. So there's hoops you got to jump through. Randomized encounters. Now that's cool. And flow on a new, unique map. So flow, I think, means like, you know, you could have heavy waves or light waves, you know, and those will also be randomized. Maybe you'll get a heavy wave in the beginning. Maybe you'll get a light wave in the beginning. So on and so forth. Whatever. New gear and weapon drops, phase 2. I don't know what that means, phase 2. I think like maybe there's an initial phase, like step 1, and then step 2, you just start getting gear. I don't know, but gear needs to be part of it, right? So that's part of the reason that I'm turned off by raids. Like I do raids as a kind of a have to now. Once I got all my exotics and everything, now I do it as a have to. Now the raids, my clans do them all the time because they're supporting the community and pumping people through those things, so I get that. But like me, myself, like, like I'm always working on builds, and I like creating builds, and I know you do too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be playing this game. You guys love builds too, right? And so when you're working on builds, you constantly need to be farming. This is a looter shooter, so if you take the looter part out of it, like they did with the raids, then it kind of sucks to spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in a raid and you don't get any gear, right? And so that's kind of what sucks about the raids for me, is it's like I did all of this and I get no rewards, except for, you know, a diamond to an exotic that I don't need anymore or really even like. You know what I mean? So, you know, so there needs to be loot drops, and it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Will it be a targeted loot system that you can pick, or will it lock only these new items that they're bringing into the game behind it? I don't know. We'll see. But either way, there's going to be gear, so we got that little bit of news. So anyway, so more to come, but that is called Countdown, and that's all we really know about it. I mean, there's a little Q&A happening, but you know, we'll just have to see. And again, we'll start to get more feedback from the community on Countdown as they're experiencing it. So I'm sure we'll get some random live streams going, probably here on YouTube and Twitch, but either way, new stuff. So there's expertise is the next item on the patch notes. Now, we've sort of gone over this already, so I don't want to focus on this too much, but here it is. Expertise is a progression feature that allows to improve the maximum performance of select weapons, gear sets, skill variants, and more, right? So basically, the more you use something, the greater you can make its power. So like the chameleon, if you use a chameleon a lot, then your chameleon will be stronger than somebody who doesn't use the chameleon a lot. Does that make sense to anybody? So let me turn off my webcam. So anyways, this feature is composed of two types of progression systems: expertise level and proficiency rank. So each eligible item type has a proficiency rank, which can be increased either through donations or kill XP. Only when an item type reaches the highest proficiency rank possible will the agent become proficient with it. So you got to earn that all the way to get it with it and be able to increase the grade. Then you can increase the grade of the individual items of that type. Cool. So additionally, each agent has a unique expertise level, which increases as the proficiency ranks are gained in more item types. Okay, so it's also is account wide. So if you have multiple characters, then it'll spread to them as well. So that's cool. Otherwise it'd be really tedious to get all your characters up to the same level, right? So types: expertise level, agent level. Proficiency rank is item type level, so like assault rifles. Proficient, reaching max proficiency rank in an item type. Grade, individual item level. So grade would be for the chameleon itself, and the proficiency rank would be for assault rifles. So you basically like a class and then a type. So research categories: weapons, gear brands, gear sets, etc., etc. So anyways, that's that. I mean, I don't really want to focus on that too much, just because we've already talked about that. That was released last year, basically, the notes on that. So, but either way, I hope it doesn't make this release. Now, I know the specialization update isn't going to make this release. They did mention that some of this stuff, the specializations aren't going to make this particular release. But the good news is, what they did mention was that we are going to have. This is sort of a start of something, right? That's what Yannick mentions on Twitter, is that this is a start of them participating more in the game again. So it's like more of a restart, I should say. So we've had this long silence, and I think, and what Yannick told us today was that basically they've been using that time to organize. It wasn't major, so major developments haven't been happening over this last like 9 months or a year or 6 months, whatever it's been, where we've kind of been in the dark. They've been using that time really to organize to get back to being able to support this game, which tells me is that, as we've all suspected, that I think that there was a sort of a plan to abandon this game, and so a lot of the developers that were supporting this game and employees were probably poached to other games in that process, and then they decided to re-support the game, continue to support the game, and they had to reassemble the team. So that's sort of what he said in not so many words. But anyways, and so this is like really good news. This is the beginning of something that we've all experienced in the past and really enjoyed, which was a live update game, right? And so they're going to continue. And he mentions like, don't focus so much on this update, on the size of this update and what could have also been added into this update, because they're going to continue to update the game on a regular cycle again, like they did in the past, back to being a live update service, right? So that's what he really revealed in his tweets. So good news there. So, okay, let's go on to new gear. So I'm really excited about the new gear. I think this really, you know, I do a lot of builds. This is like gonna open up a shit ton of new things, right? So, new name gear. So we get a new chest. Now this doesn't make sense to me. Am I wrong here? If you guys seen this, but we get a new chest and it's got perfect spotter. And that's gonna amplify total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulse enemies. What do you guys, is there something wrong with that? Is there something wrong with that number right there to you guys? 15% to pulse enemies. Well, isn't that what the non-perfect spotter does? What do you guys think? So, I mean, am I right? Like spotter is not that's just regular spotter. It says perfect. So did they make a typo, or are they gonna nerf spotter? Do you see what I'm saying? So spotter gives you 15% weapon and skill damage to pulsed enemies, right? Amplified. So they're either gonna nerf spotter down to 10%, regular spotter, or they got a typo and this needs to be 20%. Yeah, I don't know. Professor Beam! No, I didn't make a part 2 of that rare gear, I don't think. Not that I remember. If I did, I made it a long time ago. I don't think I did, though. I should, though. That was a fun one. I like that one. Lord Zyron! What up, brother? Yeah, PTS starts tomorrow. Right on. Either way, something's happening there. My guess is it's a typo and it needs to be 20%, or they're gonna nerf spotter, regular spotter, down to 10%, which very well could be the case, but there is no mention of that nerf anywhere else. So we'll see. Either way. Okay, so that's the new chest piece. Cool. So perfect spotter, and then there's a new named backpack. They don't tell us what gear this is all gonna be put on though. You know, is this chest gonna be like on a Fenris? Is it gonna be? I don't know. But we'll see. The setup is a backpack, which comes with perfectly opportunistic. So enemies you hit with shotguns and marksman rifles amplifies the damage they take by 15% from all sources. So that's true. So regular opportunistic is 10%, so it's gonna raise it to 15%. So that's really strong. So do you guys remember my my Furious Mop build where I soloed legendary with the mop? That had spotter on it. So imagine the Furious Mop build, okay? So it's got spotter, 10% amplified. So you got spotter for 15%. Well, I guess 15% amplified damage, right? So spotter with 15% amplified damage, okay? And then you're gonna have opportunistic for another 15% amp damage. So there's 30% amp damage. And then you're gonna run in sync on the shotgun, right? Another 30% damage. So that makes the mop a very strong shotgun. Now I mentioned it on the mop because not every shotgun can receive the laser pointer from the technician. But if they do things like the specialization changes aren't gonna come with this update, but when they do, you'll be able to unmarry things from the specialization. And I hope you'll be able to use that laser pointer with like Gunner and then you'll get another 10% armor on kill, and that would make that build like super badass. But anyways, that opens up a lot of builds. That's a big change for shotgun builds. I think that you know, like you have decisions like where you can make like, do I run composure on the backpack because I'm and then with the shotgun, or do I use opportunistic, or do I do vigilance? And so that's going to close in that gap between vigilance and spotter. I mean, I'm sorry, then opportunistic on the backpack. So anyways, those two changes alone, guys, are going to open up a lot of builds. You know, we talk about, just remember this, like thousands of builds are going to come out of this, right? So remember, just this, they made the smallest change to Striker, and hundreds of builds came out of that, right? and maybe some of those builds weren't exactly like brand new, but they were, it took builds that were maybe made 6 months ago, or that you would have made with like a 4-piece Striker, and you only use a 3rd piece, and then you added that 4th piece and made that build like amazing, right? Like top of your list. It's not your favorite. And so that's new. Those are new. That's a new build. When you take a 3-piece Striker to a 4-piece Striker, or when you use the chest piece, because it now gives you 50 stacks of amp damage, that is a new build. When you took a build that you were like meh, and now it's like it's my favorite, that's a new build. So anyways, those two things, that one chest and backpack set is going to create a shit ton of new builds for us, you know? Combinations that are now going to be stronger, builds that were kind of like meh for you will now be like, oh my god, this might be my favorite build in the game now. So anyways, new weapons. So let's look at these exotics. So Dread Edict, some of these are kind of confusing, so we're going to process this. And remember, all of this stuff can change. The PTS is going to dictate whether these are good as they are, or need balancing, or complete changes. Like, remember, what was it? The Ridge's Pride chest piece, when they released that, they made lots of changes to it. Also, like the Bulwark set, they definitely nerfed that a ton, right? So Dread Edict is an exotic variation of the SVD marksman rifle. Super cool. So here's a sneak peek, guys. Like, I got this really cool SVD rifle build. This is total coincidence, okay? So I've been meaning to create an SVD rifle build, or MMR build, right? And so I created this one, and it's an absolute certified insane effing beast, okay?
You can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
And notice I don't even have a damage talent on the gun. I'm using Lucky Shot. It's critting out 4 million, and it's absolutely destroying. You can't be any geek off the street.
Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Certified beast.
You can't.
So I invite you to use this, or start farming this gun. And so I'll share this build, the full build, with you guys later. But it's a good build to be running right now. Okay, so this is the SVD. It's a good build to be running right now because if we go back to here, let's show you why I created this build. Well, one, I've been meaning to create that build, but the timing kind of lined up because we have, where are we? Huntsman League. So if you look at the Huntsman League, you got weak point breaks. So this build can break a weak point with a single shot, and it doesn't have to be precision like a Mantis or a Nemesis. Really easy, so I'll show you that. And then also, in a single run, guys, I got 250 headshot kills with this build. In a single run. And it's not like other sniper builds where you have to be precise, and that's because this sniper build has a high RPM at 250, plus we're using Lucky Shot, which extends that mag big time. So any bullet that you miss when in cover is returned. So really big deal. Anyway, so much fun. The SVDs used to be real popular for the Dark Hours raid back in the day, and that's kind of sort of where they got their street credit from. I never really used it really. And so, but from that, I knew that it would make a good build, so I created a build for it, and I get it. So with that being said, guys, like, I'm really excited about this one.
You can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Really excited. So, Dread Edict. So, yeah. So, you want my SVD build because this one is going to go perfectly well with it. So, the build that I'm going to share with you for the SVD is going to line up with this new one. So, I already have a build for you for this new exotic. So, it's going to come with the talent full stop, right? So, shooting enemies build stacks to a cap of 20. Okay, now these things have a small mag. So, I'm curious to the size of the mag. My guess is the mag will be about 10 rounds. But headshots will grant 2 stacks. So there you go. So that's how you get to 20, is that you need to get those headshots in. Each stack grants 2% weapon damage and 5% headshot damage. On reload, you clear all those stacks and gain 5% of your armor, your max armor, as temporary armor for 10 seconds. So that's bonus armor, I'm guessing. But they might not, they call it that temporary armor, which is interesting. So it might not be blue, or it might be blue, but it's not bonus armor. So I don't know why they call it temporary armor, not bonus armor, but it's not bonus armor. They call it temp armor for 10 seconds for each stack removal. So that could be a lot of armor. And so, but if you think about it, that's just, you know what that's bringing in, guys, is protected reload, right? That's the chest. So it's basically they've integrated the chest talent protected reload. That's all that is. On reload, clear all stacks and gain temporary armor, bonus armor for 10 seconds. So it's better than protected reload though, because protected reload goes away as soon as you're done reloading. So that's cool. Super cool. But here's the deal. Headshot kills restore all bullets in the magazine. So one headshot kill restores all the bullets and it doesn't count as a reload. So it won't clear your stacks and you're just gonna get more bullets. And so that's how you can maintain the cap of 20 and never reload. So it's like the Bullet King, as long as you get your headshot kills. Or like the Chatterbox, right? As long as you get a the Chatterbox, as long as you get a kill, it'll refill half your mag. This one, as long as you get a kill, it'll refill your entire mag and not count as a reload. So it will not clear your stacks. So that'll give you 40% weapon damage and 100% headshot damage. Wow. Wow. I mean, that's better than the Bighorn. Because you're getting that, it's a combination of weapon damage and headshot damage. 100% headshot damage. Now, why is that amazing? Well, look at the headshot damage on the SVD. It already comes with 100% headshot damage. And what do you normally run with these things? I mean, you can run crits. You can also run it on aces. So, I mean, you could get like really high headshot damage. You could build like, I mean, with that sounds like you can build 400% headshot damage, right? Because on, like, if you run a 3-piece aces build, you usually end up with like 300% headshot damage, or 280 to 300%, you know, somewhere around there. You get as high as like 330. So if this is giving you another 100% headshot damage, see, notice it's already got 107% right on the SVD, right? All marksman rifles have 112% base. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a shit ton of headshot damage. That makes it really interesting. That might be like a really cool speed run sniper, because you can spam those bullets too. Like, imagine running it with, holy shit, imagine running it with Negotiator's Dilemma. You know what I mean? And that additional damage is not just like stacking on one target, but it's stacking on multiple targets, and it's a high RPM weapon, so it just makes sense. This RPM, the weapon has 260 RPM. It's like basically faster than an M1A, right? And the range is deeper too. Really cool. So I think out of all of the exotics I got, I think, gosh, I don't know. That might be my favorite. Really cool on what you can do there. Okay, the next one is the Catharsis. It's an exotic mask. What up, Mr. Rob? Mr. Rob's in the house. Ultra Mega Man's in the house. Picks, what's going on, bro? VI Quiet Doom. What's up, man? Trent C. See who else joined this. Geronimo, what up, brother? Good to see you back. FC and Gaming. Cool, thanks for jumping in, guys. So, where are we? We are at the Catharsis. Okay, so we get a new exotic mask. Now, another mask. You know what I mean? I sort of wish it wasn't a mask. Maybe like gloves? Why aren't they giving us more exotic gloves? Can this be gloves? You know what I mean? Because that slot is occupied. You know what I mean? Like we got, what do we got there? We got the Coyote. We also got the Vial. And then we got a lot of holsters too, like the Waveform. We have the Dodge City. And then we have the Imperial, what is it called? Imperial's Guard or whatever. Emperor's Guard. You know, the one that catches on fire. So anyways, but we only have one set of gloves, which is the BTS gloves. So I wish this was gloves, but whatever. But at the same time, you know, the mask isn't bad because you can run like the death grips with this. So, but anyways, it looks like a DPS mask. Sort of, but it's definitely different than anything we received before. It's sort of let's just read it and I'll tell you how I would run it. So the talent is called Vicious Cycle. So taking damage, build stacks to a cap of 30. Each stack grants 1% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stacks triggers a purge, removing all stacks and any status effects you have, and then dropping a healing cloud, which restores 5% of max armor for 10 seconds to all allies in the cloud. So yourself and all allies. So it's really weird. So it's sort of like a tardigrade chest piece, but they give you weapon damage with it too. So I see it as a tank build piece. Okay, so like imagine pairing up the Catharsis with the Liberty and Bulwark. Holy shit, right? Holy shit, I mean the things that we can do with this mask. Holy shit, Bandidos. The builds I can make for you with this mask are gonna wreck. I mean, think of, oh my God, the Captain America shield build, the one that uses the deflector shield because you take a lot of damage with that one while you're dishing it out. And so the Captain America uses the Ridgeway's Pride, so this would be an alternate to that. So you take away Ridgeway's Pride and put on this mask, and then you could run like kinetic momentum, which is a really good thing because that gives you more skill damage and healing, right? While running the deflector shield. I mean, holy crap, right? And then and then there's the Bulwark stuff, but whatever. So think about it. So taking damage, build stacks to a cap of 30. So this is a build that's welcoming damage. So any out of cover, to get the most out of this, you're looking for run and gun out of cover builds. Think of a Hunter's Fury build, right? Really good with a Hunter's Fury. You know why it's good for a Hunter's Fury? The reason why it's good for a Hunter's Fury is because it's giving you weapon damage. And that's what Hunter's Fury works off of, is base weapon damage and amp damage. Hunter's Fury is not that good with crits because it doesn't give you enough slots to really build out your crits. Now, crits help, and so we tend to add crits anyways, but it's sort of like, meh. The amp damage really does overshadow the crits on a Hunter's Fury build. So this mask would go way better than like a Coyote's mask. I mean, Coyote's mask does help a lot. It gives you 25% amp damage, but you know, you can just like scrap all my crits and then let's give myself some more, basically 30% weapon damage. Because when you play out of cover, you're gonna take all of that. Now, taking damage is really interesting. So does bonus armor count as taking damage? Does your shield count as taking damage? Now, we're gonna talk about the shields. The shields are gonna now become crap, which I'm really happy about. But taking damage. So hopefully bonus armor counts, and I think it should. So anyways, so it's sort of like a tardigrade, you know, sort of a tardigrade thing in there, right? So because it heals you and your team. So it restores 5% of max armor for 10 seconds. So, I mean, so that's saying that basically you can get 50% of your armor back by standing in that cloud. I guess that's what that's saying, right? Am I thinking about it right? But yeah, so I think about what's cool about that is that so as you're taking damage, taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30. Now that's what's interesting is taking damage. Is that one bullet? One bullet equals one stack? If that's the case, I mean, shit. Think about how fast you're gonna ramp that thing up. You know what I mean? You're gonna be dropping those heals all the time because these enemies are fucking relentless. Am I right? Am I right or am I right? Am I right or am I right? You know, I don't know. But I mean, it's just thing that's gonna be dropping heals all, you're gonna be farting all over the field. That's what it is. This is gonna be called the farter. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be like the farter build by Tux. Brought to you by Tux. Yeah, but that's basically what's gonna look like is you're gonna be running around farting all over the field because you're constantly taking damage, especially in Legendary. So this is like, you know, really cool. So I don't know, I really like that. I think that's gonna create amazing builds, but I'm thinking of like with the Liberty, it seems to have something there because the Liberty is creating stacks, you know, so that could be a nice one with Liberty. It could also, oh wait guys, wait. What about the backfire? Holy shit. What if you paired this up with the backfire? Taking damage builds stacks, right? Every time you reload, you take damage on that thing. You know, what if that, you know, could create some sort of synergy there? Heal through that reload, you know? I don't know. But lots of ideas, lots of things could come out of here. But I do see it as an out of cover running gun type thing. So either a tank build or like an SMG shotgun build. I think this could be really cool with, but I don't think this would be that great for like a play from cover type build where you're hiding behind cover because you really want to get, you know, cycle through those stacks. You want to use the talent often, right? If you're not using the talent often, you'd be better off with something different. So my opinion, but really cool. Mr. Rob, I dropped the patch notes in the chat feed at the very beginning. I can drop them again. While I do that, if you are now just joining us, be sure to hit the like. Hit the like. We got 84 viewers. I would like to see 84 likes. So if you hear the words coming out of that small little speaker on your phone or those fancy little speakers on your computer, then now is the time to hit the like. Can we get to 83 likes? Please, Bandidos, please. Okay, so going back to these notes because we got lots to cover. So that's the Catharsis. Really excited about that one. I think it's cool. Opens up a world of possibilities. And it's gonna be a hybrid build too, which I like. I love hybrid builds, right? So let's take that really strong DPS build that you have. Let's take it and let's make it stronger by giving it 30% more weapon damage. And let's let it give you some heals too. Why not? Right? So that's a really good hybrid concept. So balance. It's gonna bring your build in balance. Okay, this one's called the Blue Screen. It's an exotic variation of the Stoner LMG. I don't know why it's called a blue screen. Is it gonna literally have a digital blue screen on it? Like the Chameleon? I don't know. Or is it some other blue screen? Anyways, talent disruptor round. So this one's gonna be kind of confusing a little bit, so bear with me, but what's up, Mr. Man Boy? 26, Anthony in the house. Hey, Tony, 7, what up? Commander Bloodweiser's back. Che, Cirillo, what up, man? Okay. So blue screen has disruptor rounds. Shooting an enemy marks them and adds a stack to the agent up to a count of 50. Shooting a marked enemy refreshes the mark and adds stacks to the agent. When you deploy a non-shield skill, remove all stacks on agent and all marked targets trigger an effect. So we're gonna have to read this a couple times. So 1 to 10 stacks, they get pulsed for 5 seconds. If they got 11 to 25 stacks, they get that pulse as well as a disrupt marked targets for 5 seconds. That means, what does that mean? They get pulsed twice, right? So shoot a marked enemy refreshes the mark and adds stacks to the agent when you deploy skill, which is not a shield. So this is a crazy build that this would come out of. So you would want to use consumable skills, right? or you would want to use this with something like Rigor, where you could take down and, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like take down your turret, put up your turret, take down your turret, put up your turret. Not like all the time, but you know, at least after every reload, right? 50 stacks on an LMG, you know, whatever. It's the Stoner LMG, so you know, we're gonna be creating our LMG builds, back to creating LMG builds, right on. I've been preparing for that, by the way, collecting gear for that, so. So 26 to 49 stacks, you can get the pulse, the disrupt that you got in the earlier stacks, and now adds disorient for 5 seconds. And then 50 stacks gives you everything from before, and all hostiles within 10 meters of the marked targets for 5 seconds. And this effect will trigger immediately if any marked enemy is killed. That's weird. So basically, I think it's gonna spread. I think that's indirect transmission is what that's called. Basically, concept. So when you get to 50, you get an indirect transmission. Which I think that little last statement there says this effect will trigger immediately if any marked enemy is killed. So I think that statement can be applied to any level of stacking. So if you got 25 stacks and you kill an enemy, then all enemies within 10 seconds will get pulsed and disrupted within 10 meters. So I think basically, guys, this is an Eclipse Protocol LMG. I think that's what that's saying. It's a crossover between Eclipse Protocol and the Scorpio shotgun. That's what that is. This is a crowd control weapon. That's crazy CC. So this is a crowd control. So imagine running this with Eclipse Protocol, and then you would probably want to run like traps. I would probably run traps. Skills that you don't have to manage because you're gonna be busy firing with your LMG. You want to continuously mark targets, stacks, add stacks. So I imagine adding this to like you're not worrying about weapon damage here, right? This is about crowd control. Notice nothing here buffs your weapon damage. Right? Shooting an enemy marks them and adds stacks to the agent. Shooting a marked enemy refreshes the mark and adds stacks to the agent. When you deploy a non-shield skill, removes all stacks on agent and all marked targets are... Yeah, so it's definitely no power added to you. It doesn't work with shields, it works with any skill, so they want this to be used for a crowd control or a skill build of some sort. So that's badass. That's cool. That's cool, because we don't have a lot of options for our CC builds, right? You have the Everlasting Gaze, that really sucks, and a lot of people don't realize that, is that Everlasting Gaze only works on the first target that is crowd controlled. So if you're running something like, what is it? The Firefly, the Blinder Firefly. Only the first target that you tagged with Everlasting Gaze is gonna get that extended status effect. The rest of them won't. So Everlasting Gaze sucks. So you could use this. You use the Scorpio a lot with Eclipse Protocol or Test Subject, something like that. But really, we don't have a lot of options for crowd control on the weapon side of things. So this is really cool. But in order for it to work, I think you're just gonna want to run those deployable, consumable skills that you don't have to manage. So one of them is gonna be the traps for sure. So I see the shock traps being big, or if you want to put damage, then the other one, the explosive traps. You can run this with the vial. Oh, this would work with the vial. A vial blue screen. That's pretty badass. This will kick on the vial. So you can run explosives, right? Throw out your seekers. So you can throw out your seekers, max explosives to this, right? That's pretty cool. So like shock traps, or explosive traps, seekers, vial mask. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool, guys. Right on. Yeah, dispatch ongoing directive. Add another status effect with amp damage. Right on. That's good thinking too, for sure. Like the all status build. This would be a really cool weapon. Oh my God, this would be a really cool weapon for the all status build. Now, I think it's more of a team play build because it's an LMG. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know. you know, and that's good. That's good. Most CC weapons builds are. So I'm sure we'll make some solo builds out of it anyways. But that's really cool. So anyways, CC, crowd control. So we got crowd control. We got a healer mask for either a tank or a run and gun build. And then we got this really badass, the Dread Edict, I think, is the one that is more pure DPS. And it's got a protected reload element in there. Well, it's giving you basically bonus armor for 10 seconds just by reloading. But you got an endless mag. That Dread Edict is gonna be badass, guys. I'm telling you. That Dread Edict is gonna be badass. You're gonna be, I think we get, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think we're gonna be able to achieve over 400% headshot damage with that thing. Because it's gonna give you 5% headshot damage on stack. So, and it stacks up to 20 times. And on our sniper builds, we can usually add up to 330% headshot damage without trying even too hard. But you could also go the crit way. So either way, I mean, it's gonna be, I think this new SVD, this new exotic SVD is gonna replace the Bighorn. I think it's gonna be better than the Bighorn. If you like that build, headshot builds. But it's not sniping. It's more like, you know, going full auto on the head. Now it's SVDs are semi-automatic, right? RPM of about 260. So it's gonna be basically this beast that we're looking at with all that special talent. So anyway, so I think the Dread Edict is definitely the one to keep your eye on if you like to dish out a lot of power. And it's a new way to do it, and you can create it in so many different ways. You can put the Coyote mask, you can put on Sawyer's knee pads, you know what I mean? You can even run it with the Memento if you wanted to, you know, go and collect your trophies. You can, it plays well within 15 to 25. It also can reach 100 meters, as you can see down here, which is farther range than the M1A can. So, and it's advantage. That's the reason why the SVDs have an advantage over rifles, is that all that headshot damage that they come with a base 112 headshot damage and the high base weapon damage. So, and this one's faster than M1A2. So totally cool. Really excited about that. Okay. So yeah, really cool. So that's the SVD, and we're gonna get an exotic version of that. All right, so named weapons. So we're not done. And I think there's more here that they didn't add. So they didn't mention anything about new gear. But you know what I mean? Like, there's usually a new brand set that comes out, and they said that we're gonna get these new perfect talents, but they didn't say what they were gonna put it on. And so that's sort of weird. That's weird. I think there's something missing in the patch notes. Anybody agree with that? I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, named weapons. Dare, an LMG. Wow, they're really trying to get us to use these LMGs. That's a second LMG, right? Which is good because we don't use LMGs, so it'll also create some variables, more builds. That's diversity. That's diversity right there. Just that alone. It's an LMG HK GR9. I don't know what that means, to tell you the truth. But talent, perfect, flatline. Amplifies weapon damage by 20% to pulse to enemies. After 2 kills, applies a pulse to the next enemy you hit. So, right on. What do you guys think about that? Well, shit, I'll fucking take it. 20% amp damage on your gun? Is that the new best talent for the gun? I mean, what do we got? What do we got? Let's go look at our assault rifles, can we? Ladies and gentlemen. So, I mean, do we got anything better than 20% amp damage? So, assault rifles, talents. Breadbasket, no. Killer, yeah, I mean, that could be close. That 40% crit hit damage, but perfect flatline would be better. Oops, let me hide this real quick. So perfect flatline would be better than killer because perfect flatline doesn't require a kill and doesn't time out, right? So 20% amp to pulse to enemies as long as they're pulsed. So you don't have to kill anybody, it doesn't time out. So that's better than killer. Optimist is 30% weapon damage, but not from the start. You have to get through your mag, so it's better than Optimus, better than Preservation. Strained would be 50%, but again, you got to work through that. Close and personal, definitely better than that because you have to be within 7 meters, which is danger zone. Sadist, you have to run bleed, and it's only 20. Fast hands, no. Vindictive, no. Ranger, definitely better than Ranger because if the enemy's standing close to you, then you basically got nothing. Spike, steady-handed, no. Eyeless, ignited, no. Reformation, perpetuation, no. Future perfect, no. In sync gives you 30% weapon damage, so that's closer. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. In sync might be stronger than 20% amplified damage, but we wouldn't know until we check. On empty, nearsighted, measured. We'd have to check. We'd have to check to see if measured is stronger. We don't know. Overflowing. So I think measured and in sync are the only things that might stand up to it. My guess is measured. My guess would really be measured that we're talking about because the reason why in sync is different is because in sync requires you to be running a skill like a turret or a drone. And if we're running this perfect flatline on the LMG, then you don't need a turret or a drone in order to activate it. You just need a pulse. So anyways, the other one is called Kingbreaker, which is a 408 assault rifle. So that's a new assault rifle variant. Again, the patch notes didn't mention that. So they're not mentioning any new gear. Not that I've seen yet. Maybe it's at the bottom. No, it's not. So there's some notes that aren't added in here, right? Like when they bring in a new named weapon variant, like the HK, LMG HK, or the TKB, those also will be non-named versions of that assault rifle. So they'll be, so you're really getting two new weapons here. 2 new LMGs, one with the perfect talent, one without perfect. And then the Kingbreaker and the new assault rifle that with the perfect talent and one without it, usually. Unless they're only gonna give us a perfect one this time. It should be kind of unusual, we'd be breaking their patterns, but So anyways, but I'm more excited about this one, the assault rifle one. I think this might be the new best assault rifle in the game, depending on how it handles. But amplifies weapon damage by 20% to pulse enemies after 2 kills, applies pulse to the next enemy hit. So anyways, that's on an assault rifle. So, and it's a pretty cool assault rifle. I have seen pictures of it. It kind of looks like the AK-47 a little bit. So, it's kind of it's a wood stock, kind of World War II looking kind of thing. So my guess is it's gonna have a lower mid RPM, like 600 to 700 RPMs, my guess. But 20% damage to pulse enemies, so it should probably be a heavy hitter to get going. So it's probably gonna be a strong gun base, high base weapon damage to get going. So I don't know. Anyways, so that's really exciting. Lots more builds to work off of that. And so it's basically a talent that's gonna work with Spotter. So Spotter, as we saw earlier, we're gonna get a new perfect spotter, which it says 15% on the chest, but really I think it's gonna be 20 unless they're gonna nerf Spotter. So that's obviously you can get a lot of amp damage just by combining this 20% from the gun with the 15 to 20% you're gonna get on the chest. That puts you up to 35 to 40% amp damage between the gun and your chest piece. Huge. Now, let's go ahead and throw Hunter's Fury on top of that, right? So Hunter's Fury is gonna give you 20% amp damage just for standing there, plus another 5% amp damage per enemy you kill times 5. So 5 stacks plus 20, so plus 40, plus 35, so 35, 55, plus, so over 100, you're gonna get over 100% amp damage. Whoa. That's higher than we've seen so far. What about Striker? What if we add Striker to this? Striker is gonna give it 50% amp damage, right? So 50% amp damage plus, or 50 stacks of amp damage, I should say, plus 20 plus, well, that would be it. That'd be 70. So Striker would be less if you run the chest piece. If you didn't run the chest piece and you run Spotter, then you'd get 25 plus 20 plus 15 to 20. So, it looks like Hunter's Fury to give you more in this setup with this one, because it's using a chest talent. You could use a chest talent. It's called Spotter. Anyways, Really cool. So really excited about that. Really excited about that. I would like to. It would be nice to have a like a backpack count that's synergized with that a little bit. Like a pulse amp. You know, it'd be nice to see a spotter concept on the back. But all right, so we got some balance adjustments. These are kind of a big deal. So hold on to your britches. If you haven't hit the like, guys, appreciate you hitting the like and subscribe. If you haven't, make sure you have those notifications on so you can catch the new builds as I release them. Lots of stuff in the works. Lots of stuff in the works. We'll be keeping you busy until this new content lands, and then we'll get you even busier. It feels like we're just getting started now, guys. It really does. It really does. Okay. Big deal here. All right, guys. So, modifications to shield skills and behaviors. Okay, that's a big deal. Shields now take significantly more damage in PvP, so they're gonna break really easy. So, I mean, they're already kind of weak in PvP. I mean, like if you're running an all red build, maybe a couple armor cores or whatever, they're gonna break. They already kind of break pretty easy. I mean, you can one mag a shield for sure, right? Half a mag. So now they're gonna break even easier, which says like, you know, don't come at me with a shield unless you're a tank. But it's the second part. Shields now disorient their user when broken, and you can't add status effect resistance to that, Hasbro. So that's major. That's major. So the problem is like, you know, you see two idiots in in the dark zone stepping up to each other, going toe to toe with the shield, shooting each other in the face until one man dies. And then now you got two idiots standing in the middle of the street with the shield, shooting at each other's face until one man dies. And then again, you see two idiots standing in the dark zone in the middle of the street, shooting at each other in the face, and then until one man dies. Just a stupid way of playing the game, and the shields have brought that, right? Because you got these guys hiding behind their shields. The shields are, you know, shields are weak all the way around, right? We all know that. Nobody likes shields in this game. Builds you see with shields are, you probably click off of them often, unless they have a really good reason to be there. So now what's gonna happen is like you're gonna get that weak shield when it breaks all the. So what ends up happening in PvP especially, but it happens obviously in PvE also, is that you're shooting at a guy. You two are shooting at each other, standing in the middle of the street like weirdos, and then your shield breaks, but you continue to push forward and shoot the guy until you win or lose. And so this is going to stop that behavior. So when your shield breaks, you are now disorientated majorly, so you can't continue to fire and land on your target. You'll be all over the place, basically falling over. So you will die when your shield breaks, which moves your shield back to a defense, which is good. The shields aren't really meant to be played the way people are using them. The way they're supposed to be played, in my opinion, is that they're meant for you to kind of move from cover to cover, or right as you enter a doorway, or if you're getting flanked, you pop a shield and then kind of move into a new better cover position. And so you just kind of use that shield just to, for a few seconds, pop it up, put it back down, but not to get into go horn to horn with another buck. You know what I mean? So, and that's why the disorient status is there, is to fix that. So as long as you're using your shield for defense, in case you get flanked or something like that, as a last resort, then you don't have to worry about the disorient status effect. But if you're using it for offense, then it's gonna break. It's now weaker. It's gonna break, and it's not gonna disorient you, and that really sucks, and you're gonna die. So right on. I applaud that. I take it. I mean, I would be cool if they eliminated shields altogether. I'm okay with that. Take away all the shields, every single one of them, bulwark and everything. You know, you need the bulwark for tank builds, but you know what I mean? Like, I'd be cool if we didn't have any shield. I'd be all right with it. I'd be okay if we didn't have tank builds. You know what I mean? And we'd have to figure out how to do Iron Horse without a tank build. I'd be okay with that. In sync. So you can in sync will no longer proc with the shield. So that's cool. Kind of seemed kind of buggy that it did in the first place. But they're doing that just to balance things out. Because that's a lot of burst damage without actually running a real skill. So, anyways, simple. But here's the big one. I think this is a big deal. They changing Intimidate. And this is because of you PvP guys. Thanks a lot. This is you guys. So this has always happened in the Division 2, guys. This is what kind of sucks about the Division 2 PvP side. So we all know PvP sucks in the Division 2, right? Like, it just always has. It's a general community consensus. This is not my opinion. This is basically a fact now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, like, there's such a small portion of people that play PvP, such a small portion, you know? You're talking like, it's like, I don't even know, it's very small. Nobody plays PvP in the Division 2. If you're one of those guys playing PvP, you are definitely a minority. You know what I mean? And like, this is a PvE game, it's gone that way. And, you know, it's amazing though, because we got these guys that all they do is PvP. So, I don't know how or why, but they do. And they themselves say PvP sucks in this game, and it's just like, well, why aren't you playing Call of Duty or like one of those guys? They don't even go into the open world of PvE. They don't even play Legendary. They don't even do raids. All they do is PvP. Literally, all they do is PvP. You can find them on YouTube, look them up. All they do is PvP, and I don't understand why. It blows my fucking mind. My mind is blown. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? You know PvP sucks in the Division 2, and you spend all your time into DZ. How and why? And then you yourself say it sucks. It sucks. All these glitches and everybody's using skills and it sucks. And everybody's using shields and it's always the Lady Death and blah blah blah. It sucks. But all you do is the DZ. Sit there and complain. I don't get it. It's a love-hate thing. Is it heroin? Is it like heroin? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? But anyways, so the trend has been that we get these really good talents, like Bulwark. Bulwark was a beautiful gear set right when it landed, okay, right when it came out, and they nerfed the shit out of it because of PvP. It used to give us like, what was it, guys, like 3% armor regen, like right off the bat, at least 2%. It was like 2% maybe, and then they nerfed it because it was too much armor regen for PvP. You know, so like that sucks because we suffer. This game is a PvE game, and it just is that way, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It just turned out to be that way until they fixed that PvP part. But it's difficult because there's too many build variations, there's too much complexity. It's just, I don't think it's ever really gonna get fixed. And that's why they came out with Heartland. It's just a different concept, right? You just gotta apply in a whole new game mode, basically. So, you know, Heartland is the new PvP for the Division 2, you know? I think we all sort of know that, right? But the part that frustrates me is that the PvP balancing comes in and changes our PvE build behavior. And this one's a big one. We're basically losing Intimidate. It's gone. I don't see a reason to run it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, why would I run Intimidate now when I could just run Spotter on everything, you know? And Intimidate used to be really nice, but let me tell you, Intimidate's not OP. It's not. There's so many run and gun builds where I do not use Intimidate, you know? Because why? You have to be inside 10 meters, and those enemies love to play between 10 and 20. And so they might move within 10 meters, but they back out really quickly, so which means you have to play really aggressive against them. You have to push on them. And that is a very, very small community that can and is willing to do that. So it's like, it's not overpowered. Intimidate is not overpowered. It needs to be really strong. It's high risk, high reward. It has to be that way. Or you can run this really big tanky, have 2 million armor, and then put on Intimidate on it with Adrenaline Rush or whatever. And then, you know, it's not really doing that much for you anyways because you're a tank. So it's just like a little bit of damage. Okay, so here's the change. New behavior. This sucks. While you have bonus armor, gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 7. So 7 stacks. Each stack increases total weapon damage by 5%. So you're gonna get 35% weapon damage, not amplified, to enemies within 10 meters. So you're gonna ramp up from 0 to 35% across basically 10 seconds. So what the F? Okay. And to enemies within, so you got to be within 10 meters for that to happen. You have to have bonus armor for that to happen. And it's no longer amplified. It is flat weapon damage. Boo! And so all stacks are lost when you have no bonus armor. Okay. And there's a perfect version of that. So, and then there's a nerf to that for PvP. But like, okay, Adrenaline Rush is now useless. We no longer have a use case for Adrenaline Rush. Intimidate was the only thing that, well, I mean, I have few builds outside of Intimidate for Adrenaline Rush. I have like 2 or 3 other ones. You know what I mean? Like, where maybe you just want to, like, you want to heal, like, so you can run like a healer kinetic momentum thing going underneath that with some protection from elites or whatever. But like, or Ridge Race Pride in Adrenaline Rush to be kind of extra tanky. But like, Adrenaline Rush was the best thing to go with Intimidate because it was way more reliable. Now the problem with Adrenaline Rush is that it only lasts for, what is it guys, 5 seconds on Adrenaline Rush, right? So, but it constantly refreshed, it was okay. But now with Adrenaline Rush, you'll never reach your 7 or 8 stacks, right? Because you don't have the time to do it. It won't be your bonus armor won't be there to do it. And then if you take any damage, then you're definitely not going to do it, right? So, so that the good news is that Bloodsucker now has a purpose. Where for me, I think Bloodsucker is basically useless today. Bloodsucker is useless. Every time I try Bloodsucker, I was like, nope, might as well use the Memento. You know what I mean? Or nope, I'm better off with Adrenaline Rush. You know, nope, I'm better off with Galvanize. You know, so it's just like there's nothing. Like, it is so rare for me to use a Bloodsucker. This, you know, it's because it requires a kill to get a bonus armor, and that first bonus armor, even if you got 10 million armor, is like just a little wedge of bonus armor. One bullet clears it, and you're like, shit, I gotta start over. Go get another kill. You get this tiny little wedge of bonus armor, and you're like, a bullet clears it, and you're like, shit, gotta go get another kill. And you're like, okay, spawn kill, great. And you're like, kill one guy, you get that little bit of bonus armor. You kill another guy, now you got a little bit more. You kill the third guy, and you're like, holy shit, I got a ton of bonus armor. You kill the fourth guy, and they're all just standing there falling over like dominoes. The one time that you can actually get a lot of bonus armor from Bloodsucker is the time you actually don't need it, because you're spawn killing, you're bloodthirsty, nobody's shooting back at you. You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't have that bonus armor, like, you would be okay. Even if you were taking damage in the back, you'd still, you know, be okay, because that all happens in a matter of seconds. So it's like Bloodsucker is just useless. But now Bloodsucker's got a use case, because it lasts at least the last 10 seconds, which will allow you to get your 7 or 8 stacks. The problem is it's gonna require a kill. So when you step up to an enemy inside 10 meters, you're gonna have no bonus armor, and you're gonna have no Intimidate. And when you proc both of those, you're gonna have no amplified damage. So Intimidate is useless to me now. Useless. Way rather go Spotter. Even Glass Cannon. Or Hunter's Fury chest piece. Or whatever. Probably better off with the Hunter's Fury chest piece now. So, but even then, Bloodsucker now sucks. Now I'm looking back at the Memento. So now the Memento becomes even more critical. Because if you're playing inside 10 meters, that means you're grabbing trophies anyways. And the Memento lasts for how long, guys? 10 seconds. So the Memento's bonus armor is now more valuable than Adrenaline Rush. Right? And it's also more valuable than Bloodsucker. Why? Because you're also getting a weapon damage pickup when you grab that trophy, as well as a skill efficiency pickup when you grab that trophy. So, and then you're getting long-term 3% armor regen. So, I mean, Memento and Intimidate, or basically nothing. Don't use Intimidate. Basically how I'm gonna look at it. I mean, there might be cases where, you know, Bloodsucker might be okay or whatever, but blah, so boring. So boring. I mean, there was an exotic up here that we saw that might synergize with that. I don't know. I mean, one of these gives you temporary armor, right? This temp armor right here on Dread Edict, but that's not bonus armor, but it does last for 10 seconds. Notice that. So if this does qualify as bonus armor, then that might help, but you know, that's an SVD, so I don't think we're gonna be running a gunny with an SVD. It's not strong enough to one shot, you know, with the Headhunter talent. So, yeah, I don't think any of these other things are giving us bonus armor that we've covered, right? Not that I remember. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. So that's the only bummer. I think that's a big bummer. I don't think it makes sense, and that's because of the PvP community. That's because everybody's using Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush with the Lady Death, and, you know, they're just trying to balance things in the PvP, so we're suffering in the PvE because of that. Yeah, I use his talent, you know, but it is situational. And so that, you know, and so there's a lot of times where I don't use it because it's situational. It's like, oh, relies on that bonus armor. Bonus armor doesn't stick around, taking a lot of pain. So, you know, and so then I'll throw on a shield if I need to, because the shield will protect the bonus armor, which in turn allows Intimidate to stay active longer. And so that's the only time I use the shield, right? But now the shield is gone too, because if that shield breaks, I'm disorientated. I'm a fucking sitting duck. So again, Intimidate, that's those two things together eliminate Intimidate. Because I use this shield only to protect the bonus armor. You know, unless it's a firewall shield, and I'm also getting that extra damage to enemies. But I'm using the shield to protect the bonus armor so that I can run Intimidate. But now if my shield breaks, I get disorientated and I'm a shooting duck. My bonus armor is not sticking around long enough, and Intimidate's no longer amplified, so I'm not going to get as fast of kills, which is really vital if you're playing inside 10 meters. So, I don't know. I don't know about Intimidate. I hope that changes. So this is not final. The PTS can change things, but Snowman, yeah, spotter builds. But not just spotter builds. I mean, okay, all I gotta say is, like, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek. You're here, hit the like, smash the like. How we doing on the like side, guys? Like, let's get those numbers up. That really helps the channel, helps the cause, helps us keep going. But we got 82 likes, 98 people on the stream. So if you haven't hit the like, really appreciate you guys doing that now. Subscribe if you haven't. And so that being said, I'm gonna show you my latest, give you a quick glimpse of this latest build. So this will be a little, consider this bonus content for the live stream because it is off topic. Let me fix my face here. So it's not the topic of our build, of our video, but this build actually warrants a mention right here because it's relevant to what we just discussed, okay? So we talked about there's a new exotic coming in the game, and it's called the Dread Edict. Is that the right name? Am I getting the name right? Dread Edict. Yeah, Dread Edict. It's a new exotic SVD, which is going to be an exotic variation of this. And I just put together this build and ran it. So I streamed this on Twitch. So if you're not following me on Twitch, you really should be. That is bonus Division 2 content that you're not getting if you're not following me on Twitch. So we streamed for 5 hours last night working through this build, and it's an absolute certifiable beast. Now, actually, let me show you this in the testing range because it's really, really good and worth you seeing some quick damage numbers. But it just rips the enemies apart. I mean, rips them. Like, you ever see those movies where there's like a guy running like a 50 caliber and he's like removing the limbs of his enemy? You know what I mean? It's like that. It feels like that. Like within a few rounds, a boss, anybody, dude, a named boss in a heroic in a 4-man scale up situation is just eliminated like he's made out of paper, you know? So anyway, so this is using the whole build real quick, and then I'll show you. We got to build a stacks, but so you got sharpshooter, you need that. This is the SVD. Now you have to run lucky shot. You have to. I'll go into more details in the build, but because of the RPMs, you have ammo issues. Like, you will run out of ammo. You have to run lucky shot, and you're not missing any damage, trust me. So this build hits so hard, okay? And then we're using the Coyote's Mask because we're playing at range, so it's giving us 25% crit chance, and we're playing into crits here, okay? Now this one is, I'm using Perfect Focus. You don't have to use Perfect Focus. I'm sort of on the fence with it myself. Regular Focus might be better, but because if I can run regular Focus, and I got more build diversity, more ways to run the other pieces. But either way, this achieves really high damage. And then we got a Grupo here. We got weapon handling everywhere. That's critical. You want weapon handling everywhere, so that way you can rapid fire on the head, okay? And this thing doesn't do really, it's got a lot of stability issues on its own if you don't have the handling. So you got weapon handling there, and then crit chance, crit damage, vigilance. I wish I had weapon handling here also, but I don't. And then the Coyote's Mask, which allows us to refill those crit chance. So as you can see, we're at basically max crit chance with the Coyote because it's going to give us another 25%. And then we got 139% crit damage. But look at that, 187% headshot damage. Now, if we have the exotic one, we're going to get 30% more weapon damage and another 100% headshot damage. So this build would have 287% headshot damage if we were running that other one. Also, we're gonna get that protected reload for 10 seconds. We're gonna get that bonus armor for 10 seconds on reload. But we're also gonna get that 30% weapon damage. So this build is gonna be king. This is the build, okay? And so, I mean, with the new exotics, like the new mask, you might change that, but I don't think you'd want to. I think this is the build for the new exotic SVD Dread Edict. So, and those crit damage stacks might not look that impressive to you, but let me just show you what this little beast can do. Let me hide this window capture here. So, okay, so it's a focus build, so you build stacks, but you know, you don't have to have your stacks all the way to engage, but I'm just gonna do it here for the testing purpose. But any little bit from focus helps, but in certain instances, you're gonna get max. But check this out. So non-crit at 2.5 is 3.835. So almost 4 million crits, and you can definitely get that to 4 million when you're running in a team that does exceed 4 million. So also, I got a little bit of extra weapon handling on here, so that's definitely dictating that too. So, trust me, you don't need more. I actually would settle with less, to be honest with you, but this thing actually cuts enemies down, named bosses in just a few shots, but this is the rate you're really firing at. And so what's happening is, like, you don't need to go all in on the headshots. You only need 1 or 2 rounds to hit the head. Only 1 or 2. That 1 or 2 headshots just cleans the enemy out. It's an absolute beast. It's a beast. You know, 285 RPMs or whatever it is. It's crazy. Yeah, 260 RPMs. So I'm really loving it. So what's really cool about it is, like, with the Huntsman League, it synergized nicely with this league. I've been meaning to create this build, but it just synergized nicely. Well, one single bullet will break a weak point. One single bullet will break a weak point. So this is a weak point breaking build. And that's fully scaled up 4-man team. We tested it. And then we got 250 headshots with this in a single round of playing last night. So much fun, guys. So much fun. I'm actually gonna just show you a little bit of what it can do. Yeah, I don't think they're done with the nerfs. I think, again, they said that they're going to do, there's going to be regular patch updates, so keep that in mind. So remember, they used to do updates every Tuesday, guys. You guys remember that? So every Tuesday, they used to give us updates. So I don't know if that's going to be just like that anymore. So usually they'll do title update. So this next one will be title update 15. Is that right? 15? And then they... And then what they do is they'll do title update 15.1, so which is like a balancing act of title update 15, fix everything that didn't work. And then from there, they used to do like weekly fixes, you know, like every Tuesday there'd be that 3-hour server down thing, you know. I don't know if that's gonna be the case, but. So what's really cool about this build too is you're mobile. So, cause we're not running braced. Just so you know, we tried braced, and it worked really well, but then we figured out that we can get the same amount or really close to it. So I got 77% stability here. And so I was able to get the same stability as braced without running it and achieve at the same time higher weapon damage because we can run focus. So, oops, I didn't want to jump. Back. What's really cool is you can play deep. So, that's the idea with this. You kind of want to play from, you don't have to play super long. I'm a little deeper than I want to be right now, but we'll move up in a second. But this cover right here, I'm sitting, it kind of sucks, by the way, but let's find these guys. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. 2 shots. Boom. Boom. Shred him. You see that yellow guy shred? Shred. Come on, you gotta love that. Oh, there's somebody behind me, I think, but it's okay. Yep, there is. He can see me and I can't see him. What's going on? There's guys everywhere. Hold on, let me get out of here. There was somebody standing right here. Where'd he go? I saw a little flag. Oh well. I mean, fear nobody. Fear absolutely nobody. The biggest boss, whatever. Whatever. And you gotta zoom if you want to, but you don't really want to use it. Somebody is shooting me from somewhere else, and it's really annoying. Let me get out of here. This build is so badass, guys. I'm sorry. I really love it. It's shredding. I had so much fun. I was so surprised about how powerful these SVDs are. It's been a while since they've kind of been a thing, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. This is the weapon, man. Don't compare it to the Nemesis. Don't compare it to the Mantis. It's not the same concept. It's a different concept. It's more of like a DPS support build. The cool thing about it is, like, it's not a precision sniper, I guess is what I'm saying, right? So if you've kind of been against precision snipers, then you're gonna like this one. Doesn't require precision. It's accurate, but not like a sniper. See, there's a lot of pressure in sniper builds, right? You got one bullet and you need to kill with it. One shot, one kill. And that puts pressure on a build. So when you're trying to support a teammate and you got one shot, one kill, and then you don't get that shot, you miss it, then you're not supporting your teammate, and then he's out to dry and he sucks, he dies. But with this one, you can support your team and from a single place without moving, because you got really good range and damage. So it's not just suppression, it's not anything like that. I mean, you are shredding anything. God forbid a boss comes out. I mean, look at that, guys. I mean, that was a headshot, weak point kill, both. You're gonna love the new exotic SVD, I promise you. And this is the build you're gonna run it with. You don't need armor. You do not need armor. You do not need armor on kill. You don't need it because you're playing deep. So you got all the benefits of that sniper, right? You're playing deep, you're playing in cover. You can play closer too. I'm just not. We'll move in a little bit. Show you what I mean. But the idea is, like, when you're running with a team, this is such a good team build, because you can support your guys like from everywhere, like just a few feet out. I mean, from really far out is what I mean, the opposite of that. From really far out, you can clear the whole field from a single position. Really cool. That medic is getting guys alive. Let me go pick a new spot. Where's this guy? Also really cool, there's no like buffs, expirations of things, you know what I mean? Get rid of that guy real quick. So, you know what I mean? No worries about mementos, no worries about any of that stuff. Like, if vigilance goes down, who cares? You're powerful without it. You get rid of that medic. Here's a tanky dude, watch this. He busted his head already. That's about as tanky as they get right there, so you know. That guy's really tanky. We shredded him like lettuce. Look at this boss. Nothing. Nothing. Nobody could survive this build, I'm telling you. Shit, use this in the DZ. They'll nerf the fuck out of it. Actually, don't use it in the DZ. I don't want that. I love this build, guys. So you do have to watch your ammo. Notice my ammo's down at the 30. So that's the one drawback, is that you got to watch your ammo. And so you don't want to spam the trigger too much, or you need to make sure you move and go pick up ammo. And you can move. You don't have the Sawyer stacks to worry about. You know what I mean? There's no Sawyers. So you got freedom to move around a little bit. You got one shot, weak point break. You see that? One shot, weak point break. Nobody survives. These are all elites. Come on. I'm staying in scope so I can get that max damage, but you don't have to. You don't have to worry about that. Like, your killing power is so good. Just play the average of focus, right? And that's what I'm saying. Do you really need perfect focus? Probably not. But, wow. You know? That turret's a pain in the ass. Let's kill this guy real quick. There. Nobody can survive this build. So who do we got next? One shot weak point kill. You see that? One shot weak point kill. So that's why you want to use this build right now, though, is that for weak points, it's absolutely amazing. Especially against the, what do you call those guys? Outcasts. Look at this grenade toss. I bet you it's going to be amazing, isn't it? It is. Do you see where that guy was? He was way over there. That's bullshit. That's what they need to fucking fix. Screw that. Fix the grenades. Fix the enemy's accuracy. You can really manipulate the enemies here too by breaking their proxies. I mean, come on. Tell me that build doesn't shred. What up, Natasha? What up, Biko? Biko, where are you at, man? Dennis Boone. That, guys, I'm telling you, it's like sort of my new favorite build. I always say that because I keep creating builds that I'm falling in love with, but like, and that's how they should be. I mean, if you don't love a build that you made, then, you know, that sucks, right? But there are guys that promote builds that they don't actually like, that nobody would like, because they just need to get a build out for the day. But like this build, holy shit, I'm actually gonna feature it a lot. I'm gonna do a whole nother stream just on this build, so don't you worry. And I'll probably create some you have a lot of room, so that's why it's going to be featured, because there's so much you can do with it because of all that damage that you just witnessed. There's so much you can do with it. So this is again a high level to build. I'm running Cheska, but like I can get rid of Cheska. I can put on Composure so that you don't have to worry about vigilance going up and down. If you want more reliability than anything, you know, you don't need armor on kill, you don't need armor regen, but you could take a repair skill, you know, one repair skill, 20% repairs mod, you know, that could help just your healing go up. But you're playing deep, you know, but if anything, I think I would like to add one more weapon handling mod. And the reason why is because I think that if you were able to just increase the amount of headshots you add by increasing your stability, then that would help. Ooh, look at that one. That's nice, huh? I don't like the Banshee, but I'm gonna pick it up. I think that would help with the ammo issues a little bit, and also you'd be a faster killer. But time to kill is not really a thing, so I'm not really worried about it, you know. But the thing is, it's like, what else do you do? So I think so from here, I wouldn't add a bunch of defense. It's not the right move. It's not the right move because it's not a run and gun, play close and personal kind of thing. It's just like you're tucked back supporting yourself or your whole team from a distance. And so if anything, a little bit of repair skills would help, you know, just so when you do take damage you heal up faster. But you know, you got armor kits and that's plenty, you know. I mean, let's go check this out. And actually let me see what I got going on. So let me get some ammo, and then let's go run it. I haven't actually done this in District Union yet, but let's go check it out real quick. The weapon handling is, so I'm not running brace, so again, brace would be a mistake for this, and we started there, and it did feel good, okay, so don't get me wrong. So before we started with brace, and then had max crit chance, max crit damage, I think spread everywhere, and we were like, oh wow, this is doing really good. We're like at 2.5 million critting, and it's like, and enemies were falling like flies, okay? So it worked amazing. I was like, I'm in love with it. I was like, I don't think there's anything we can do. It's just good, it's just good. And then we further improved it by taking off brace, moving weapon handling throughout the build. So here, 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 and then the mods. That's what the other ones are here. So stability, stability. It's all about stability. Accuracy is not that important. So stability and stability. And so by adding that stability, we got ourselves close to what, so running this build with brace was taking us to like 95% stability. And so we got close to it. We realized, first of all, 95% was too much. So there was about at least 10% waste there. And so we found that you didn't need to go over 85%. Like the difference between 85% and 95% stability was the same. So 77% is effective, but I would like to jump it back to 85% if I could, or close. So the only way to do that is put on one weapon handling mod here and lose 12% crit damage. But as you can see, we're killing so much with 140% crit damage. I don't give a crap. I could lose 12% all day long. You can lose more. So, anyways, so so we don't have a high weapon handling. It's more about high stability. You know what I mean? But the weapon handling is at 32%, in case you need to know. So it's all about the stability. And the stability allows you to shoot faster, which you have a high rate of fire MMR. But again, you're not shooting at its full potential, so don't think about adding 3 pieces of striker. That's a waste. It's kind of the same concept as the merciless build. You'd have a lot of waste if you jumped up your speed. 260 is as fast as you need. Again, it's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, marksman rifle. There's other fast marksman rifles, so I got the SOCOM here. It's actually a little bit faster. And so the SOCOM's a little bit faster, and it handles okay too, but for some reason, the SVD just feels better. But it also, the SVD's got a higher base weapon damage. Now, the SOCOM isn't maxed out. It's not a god rolled or anything, but still, it's got better stability and a larger mag. But look at the damage drop off. You get more damage a little farther out, but then you got a steep drop where you got a steady decline and a paratrooper SVD, which makes it more versatile because the enemies are moving in distances. So let me see if I got the right things here. Yeah, I do. Let me ask, can you use a shield with this build? This weapon? If so, that might work better than the heal. Yeah, let's try this. I don't know if this will work, but I think you can use them with snipers. But if you can, you can. Wow. I didn't know that. I know that you can use them with LMGs, but let me restart this. Timing is everything. Oh, they're not gonna let me run back. We learned something new. I did, at least. Nestor Martinez. ¿Qué pasó, Natasha? Oh, who we got? Herober? Herober. I want to see Hero Bear when I see your name. But I don't think that's it, huh? Herober? I like it. Killer Link, my boy from Baltimore. What up, man? Glad you're liking the content, man. We're just getting started, bro. We are. Funny to say that, but I got it. My channel's relatively new compared to all the other content creators. We're just over a year. Most guys that you see now have been covering the game from the get-go. And so I feel like we're just getting started. We've kind of started at the low side of this game too. So, okay, let's see what this thing can do. So let's pick on this yellow guy first. Yeah, I think I might be too close, actually. This is sort of my go-to spot, so let me deepen that a little bit. Also, you can change your scope. We don't need this scope. We might be better off with, like, you can change. So I got the 12x scope. Actually, the digital scope. We might need to change this to like the 8x scope. You could also run the scope here. But let me first try just playing a little bit deeper. I haven't used this at all, so this is a first test for me. But in order to do this effectively, we might need to be playing from back here. Back of this truck is kind of a nice setup. So I'm not going up high because we're taking a lot of damage back here though, huh? I like those garbage cans because you got good cover down there. Take out these tanks. Yeah, breaking it out. Ammo could be an issue here, so that's one of the things we need to keep an eye on here. They don't give you much ammo for sniper rifles, that's what I mean. Weak point broken. Really easy to break that weak point. Headshot kill. I mean, this would be like a laid-back way to play it, too. So if you're not a real aggressive player, you know, I'm sure you'll like these setback builds. Kill that very important target. Oh, we can flank. Let's break that weak point. Weak point broken. Now he doesn't like me, does he? So you see what I'm saying about the healing? So like when you're playing solo, you're taking all the aggro, so that healing is kind of a... So you might want to use an armor kit here. So that's where like having one healing mod could be a great deal of help, I think. Because it's kind of annoying to use your medkits like that. And I'm only using the medkits because I don't want to sit there and wait for my healing. You can see, like, I put out probably a few extra shots than I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? Because I want to get it done. Cool. So now we got the one of the grenaders done. I think both of them, right? Is there another grenader on the field? Oh, that fucking drone! God damn it! God damn it!
You got your objective. Don't let anything stand in your way.
So anyways, I'm not gonna make you guys sit here and watch me do this, but that's basically the build. Tons of fun, tons of fun. And you can run a group or solo. And so, you know, I think it could use a little bit of tweaking on the healing side, actually. I think I would like to run like one more healing mod for doing this legendary solo, because it's kind of annoying to heal up and we don't really have any heals. Or you can add armor on kill. That would also fix it too. You can add a little bit of armor on kill. Take off the Petrov gloves and put on the death grips. But, you know, those are little tweaks we'll work on later in the next live stream. But appreciate you guys. Totally. Thanks for all the support, and I hope you guys got a lot of valuable information. I hope that what we talked about today gets you pumped up. I think that's what's most important. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the next live stream. Probably be streaming on Twitch tonight, so see me over there.
Tuxedo out.
Raw flows and that's how it goes.